What's up, world? This is your boy, Coach EV, aka EV the Geeker, and welcome to another episode of Talkin Hoops in the Sip Live. That's Talkin Hoops in the Sip. Hey, listen, I'm excited. I'm solo dolo for a little while. So guys gonna jump on a little later, but hey, I'm solo dolo tonight. Everybody at games. I'm chilling at the crib. We're gonna talk about different topics. So here's what I need from you first before I get going, because I need way more interaction tonight than ever. But first, let me just say this. Tonight's show is sponsored by Tatum and Wade Law Firm, located at 126 East Meat Street, right here in Jackson, Mississippi. You see the banner. Tatum and Wade are real lawyers who get real results, serious lawyers who get serious results. I say if you want to get paid, then you need to go to Tatum and Wade. Here's what I need. What's up? How you doing, Ms. Blanks? I need as many commenters tonight. I want to answer any questions that you have, Q&A, and I want to talk a little bit about the new JUCO ruling. Big news, JUCO ruling now. You can go to JUCO for 2 years and then still have 4 years of eligibility left. JUCO new rules, you can go to JUCO for 2 years and then have 4 years left of NCAA eligibility. I see my guys William Payne and stuff are on as well right now, but we just wanted to go live real quick. Shout out to my good William Payne. I see JUCO Advocate and them breaking down the JUCO injunction, and basically right now it's for one guy, but this is going to open up the floodgates for JUCO basketball. I'm telling you, it's going to be, the floodgates are opening. So tell me your thoughts, any questions that you may have. I'll tell you some of my thoughts. I think that, so let me go over the rule again. The injunction basically is saying that, now if you go to the JUCO for 2 years, Mississippi has 15 JUCOs. They've always been recruiting. My guy, Coach Taylor, do me a favor, send me your email. Let's get you on the show. If you can, send me your email. I'll get you on the flow, send you a link so we can come on. Let's talk about it. Coach Brandon Taylor Hines, coach, women's coach, been around all over the country, phenomenal recruiter in Texas, doing a great job at Hines Community College right now. He has them. I think the women are 8-3 the last time I checked, maybe a little bit better, but just doing a phenomenal job. Love to have your input on. I've been on the JUCO side, was a JUCO kid, played 2 years of JUCO. Really, that means I have 2 years left. I think I can help somebody right now. I know I can help my own team. I can at least stand in the corner and knock down shots. I can't get back on defense, but if I'm open, I can knock down shots right now. So I have 2 years left of eligibility. What it's getting ready to do is it's getting ready to make high school recruiting for kids that's going to go to the highest level. Let's break down levels. We have what you call, for those of you who understand, we have what you call high major. High major is what you call the used to be Power 5 conferences. It's now Pop P4. So you got the ACC, Big Ten, SEC, and the Big 12. Those right now are your Power 4 conferences. I guess you would still say the Big East. I think the Big East in the basketball is still considered that. Then you got your AAC, you got your Memphises, obviously UConn on the women's side and men's side. Talking about the men, one of the last 2 national champions. So let's look at high majors. How does this affect high major recruiting? Which in our state of Mississippi, we have 2 high majors, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Well, right now, And we're talking this strictly from the basketball. Uh, okay, Coach, appreciate you, man. We're gonna definitely get you on. We want to talk. Let's talk high major Mississippi State Ole Miss from a basketball perspective, boys and girls. It's going to affect our state, I think, very, very much as far as high school recruiting. We have most of our kids that play basketball anyway go to JUCOs. There's not very many that go high majors. We probably have one high major per year, a la Madison Booker. Before that, Debrisha Poe. We have some kids now that have some Division I offers. Jade Rucker had a high major offer to Mississippi State, and she had an offer to Ole Miss. She ended up signing and committed to Austin, which is a mid-major. And so that's one of the things that we have. Brought my guy in from Orlando, Florida, Jacob Loggins, one of my young guys. I used to work with him at Indiana Tech. What's up, Jacob Loggins from Orlando?
What's up, E? What's the geek?
All right, man, we're geeking right now. We're just kind of going through a breakdown, Jacob, of the impact that this JUCO ruling will have on the places, and we're dealing with Mississippi right now because we have about 15 JUCOs, and so I'm just kind of breaking down how it's going to affect at each level. At the high major level, as I was saying, the Michigan States of the world and all like that, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, they are going to recruit initially. It will not affect top 50 players.
Right.
It will not affect pros. Pro guys that are projected to be pros out of high school, this ruling will not affect because those kids are going to go straight to college and be one and done and get to the league anyway, or two and done. It is going to affect the borderline high major kid, in my opinion, because now with all the money that's being doled out, high majors are going to be much more selective. They can tell a kid, hey, we're going to wait, or they may start trying to stash kids at particular JUCOs so that they'll be able to get them back later. Then they'll be able to. The JUCOs now essentially has become the new post grad. It's become the minor league system. It's become the feeder system for for the colleges. And to be honest with you, it can be that could be looked at as a negative. But then on the flip side, Jacob, think about yourself and myself. You went to a 4-year school right out of high school.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, man, I was the ideal candidate for this.
Absolutely, because I remember you had Division I talent. You ended up going to Indiana Tech. Yeah. If I probably had been in your life a little sooner, you probably would have never ended up at Indiana Tech.
Right.
You probably would have been at a Division I institution. But for somebody like you, who could have went to the right JUCO, developed your game, got yourself stronger.
Yep.
Then there's I think you were a low major, mid major player that could have played at a Central Michigan. Those type places, and then you would have could have had a very good career there. And so I think for that there's going to be some benefits.
Oh yeah.
Here's the first thing I will say this for high school when we look at, and we're going to look at some benefits and pros and cons, and we're not going to go in any particular order. But one benefit is here's a kid now, strategically, Jacob. Like, think about this. A kid, they have dual enrollment classes in high school. You can essentially get your associate's degree in high school, go to JUCO, get a trade,
and just hoop.
That's one thing. Then you go to 4-year school, depending on how many hours you have. You could essentially get your bachelor's in 3 years, which has done all the time. You got 3 years left to play, get you a master's, and then get you a doctorate. That is
on the college university's dime.
That's unbelievable. But here's the thing.
God.
When you look at it, Jacob, that's not a bad deal. They've been beating us and getting a whole bunch of money out of us anyway.
Yeah.
So why not get a doctorate? Like, that's not a bad deal. That's like best case scenario. Coach Taylor from Hines says those funnels are about to get real. Connections are about to get stronger between JUCOs and NCAA programs, since now they can place a kid, and that kid will not lose any eligibility, but will only get more prepared for that NCAA level. That's from Brandon Taylor, head coach at Hines Community College. Coach, you're exactly right, and that's what some of the things that we're saying. The negative side of it, I guess, is you now will begin to have, whereas an 18-year-old wouldn't, or like I said, that borderline kid on the high major level may have to drop a level to the mid-major level, which may be his best fit anyway, or a low major level for a college coach or four-year school to recruit them. And so that's kind of, I would say, I guess you can look at it a negative or a positive, but that's one of the things that could be a negative. What's your thoughts? Any of your thoughts when you hear it off the cuff? What are some of your thoughts on it, negatively or positive?
My first initial reaction when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is huge. And I was like, this is fire. This is a great opportunity. Kind of puts JUCO back to what it was designed to do, which is to develop kids. So, like you said, my situation, I'd have been the ideal person. The cons of it that I believe is, once again, just like with the transfer portal, it's going to hurt the high school kids. And what I'm saying is, like you said, if they're not the top 50, if you're not, on that pro track there, then, because here's the thing, if I'm a coach and I'm in a win now situation, I'm trying to win. My job is based on how my program produces. Am I going to recruit the kid, a 17, 18-year-old senior? Am I going to recruit him to only play with me for 4 years? Or I'm going to go to the JUCO where I'm getting a more seasoned, older, stronger. They have some experience already playing at a higher level, and I still get them for 4 years. I mean, it's going to be a no-brainer for coaches to now target the JUCO kids. And I'm right on the track with you. I believe that there's going to be some type of merger to some degree between the NCAA and the NJCAA. I believe that down the road. But just like with any opportunity, just like how we've seen the pros and cons of the transfer portal, I believe that it's going to get, I believe it's going to get abused to some level. We're going to hear all types of, we want to see how it pans out. But I just think those are the glaring pros and cons of it. But if you're that tweener, if you're that player that just love to hoop, you're not on no pro track. I mean, you just got 2 more years to play ball. So
yeah, I mean, it's awesome, man.
You're gonna have these 28-year-olds in college still hooping. I mean, you know how Tech was a little bit, so the guys was older than me. I came in at a young 17-year-old. Those guys on my team, 24 already.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And that age difference means a difference.
Big difference.
Before we move on, we want to just talk about. Sometimes I always, talk about some things that I eat on. Right now, my camera's not very good, but I love the Sour Patch. There's some Sour Patch I got from a Christmas party. Blackberry cold. They're pretty good. You can find them at Dollar Tree. They're pretty good. They're really, really sour and sweet. Kind of like them. But anyway, back to our regular schedule program. I want to.
They not paying you, man. Are they paying you? What's going on, man? What's the game?
No, not yet. But you know what, man? I'm just, sometimes I do a little free advertising for people.
Okay.
Sour Patch they hear me and they may, who knows? They may call me. Hey, you know what we're doing? I'm gonna go into my spiritual thing. I'm sowing a seed.
You put it, speaking it into existence.
And we're speaking it into existence. But if you have any comments or any questions, please jump on the chat right now. Appreciate you guys, jumping on. We are right now on 3 platforms: YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And Jacob, you can share this on your Facebook as well. I don't know if you've seen that. The
That's what I was
ability.
doing when I was looking down. I was sending some people.
Yeah.
And
And
actually,
so,
there's a couple of pro trainers that wanted to hop in and talk.
okay, cool. Send them the link.
I will.
I ain't got no problem with that. We like people from, we worldwide anyway. We got, and for those of you just popping on, we got my guy Jacob Loggins, former Indiana Tech player, who right now resides in Orlando, Florida, the owner of Diligent Sportswear, and one of the top life insurance specialists in the world. There it is, Diligent. There it is. He got it right there. You need to be diligent. Everybody talking about just do it. No, be diligent.
Yeah, don't forget about the after school program. We're big as far as helping.
Talk to us about it, Jacob. Talk to us. Talk to about that with you and your wife, Kia.
Absolutely. So that was one of the byproduct of us moving to Orlando. So day one, we moved in down here from Michigan. 12 years ago, we started an after school and summer camp program called Extreme Youth Sports. All right. And so we offer after school and summer camp programs for kids. We're like, at the time we moved down, we were one of the first places that a parent could drop off their kid and be a part of a program where they touch every single aspect of sports. But it's more than sports. You have life skill enrichment. We have homework help. But we have basketball, soccer, dance, cheer, martial arts, all under one roof. So before we moved down here, they just had gymnastics, where it would be after school for a gymnastic program or after school for martial arts. But now, we do everything. And we're not trying to raise pros. We just really just about keeping kids active. And so it's been rocking. And my wife, she kind of run the show now. I do my insurance thing, but she's really the face of the program. So we do that together.
Well, that's awesome, man. Listen, Extreme Youth Sports, I've actually been around and seen them when I was down in Orlando. They do a phenomenal job. He and his wife, great husband and wife team. And the shout out to the wifey, Kia.
Yes, sir.
In the building. But again, please make sure you jump on, ask any questions or anything you may have. I think that with this JUCO thing, monumental. But here's what we want to make clear. Right now, it is an injunction, meaning that just one kid has earned this right to get, his eligibility. I don't have the young man's name at this point, but it's an injunction. So he's got it. And usually what happens with temporary injunctions, they usually get, go full bore.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what people are anticipating. But there is a chance that the NCAA could come back and JUCOs, whatever, and it couldn't happen. Any JUCO coaches right now want to jump on, feel free to hit me up, email me, and jump on and to talk about this. It's huge. Again, in a place like Mississippi, I remember when I coached at Jackson State as an assistant on the men's side, and even at Valley. 2 SWAC schools here in the state. Our biggest competitors, to be honest with you, Jacob, was the JUCOs. In Mississippi, see, we have housing. I know down there in Florida, y'all don't always have housing, even though Northwest Florida State is one of the top JUCOs in the country. Chipola, Florida Southwestern, Tallahassee, places like that. But what the advantage we have, our JUCO campuses, Jacob, look like 4-year institutions, some of them. Yeah. If you go on Northwest Community College, Mississippi Gulf Coast, down there with Hope, and places like that, man, they look like Pearl River with Scotty Fletcher. They've been some of our biggest competitors when I was coaching at the D1 level. Now I'm the head coach at a D3 level, and I don't even try to compete, because at the end of the day, as far as with the JUCOs, because they can give out full ride scholarships, And now that they can, you can have 2 years there at a JUCO and then go get 4.
Yeah.
It's a different animal. It's
I,
gonna even be harder.
yeah, I was going to ask you, how does that affect, your landscape of things there from that side?
Well, it
Like,
affects it because one thing that's being perpetrated, some with some truth and some to me with not so much truth,
mm,
um, is here's a word that is over used and abused, and that's the word development. Development. I think it's a word that a lot of times it's a buzzword that coaches use. Man, you can come here and get developed. No, you can come here and get. I forgot what I called it. Oh Lord, I forgot. I came up with it. But it's not developed. You get developed like you've helped develop Jace and gave him his foundations at 6 years old,
right.
or however, whenever they started.
Mm,
Now they come to the next level and they get a chance to work on some things. But in reality, to be honest with you, there's not too many coaches, places, to be honest, and I'm just being honest, that usually go up a level. What I mean by that is if they go and if they are getting recruited at a low major level coming out of high school, they're usually low major out of college. There is maybe if there are 10 kids, let's use this for example. Now I'll use this since I've been here in Mississippi.
all right.
Obviously, I know all the kids, girls and boys. Since I've been here since 2016, I can name the kids that went to another level that was higher. I'll give you an example. John Knight from Callaway, offered by Jackson State out of high school. I remember Wayne Brent loved him because he called me and said, Evie, what you think? Who tell the guys about John Knight? I said, I absolutely love him. I love John Knight. I thought John Knight was a mid-major kid all day long. Nobody offered him.
He wasn't
Nobody,
just a good kid.
yeah,
He wasn't just a great kid.
no, he wasn't just a good kid. He wasn't one of my good kids. No, he was a legit dude. He reminded me of a poor man's Chauncey Billups who had incredible hops.
Oh wow,
Big time leaper. Was a guy who could average 6 rebounds from the point guard position. If he had better handles in high school, he would have been a high major kid because he could block shots. He's a kid that probably in high school averaged 1 to 3 blocks a game in high school at the high school level. Jackson State was the only one really saw the vision around here on it. Southern Miss didn't. Ole Miss, Mississippi State should have easily been a Southern Miss kid, easy all day long. Well, he goes to Southwest Community College, plays 1 year there, kills it, ends up at Utah State, mid-major plus level. For those of you, again, we were talking about high major and mid-majors earlier. Power fives or high majors, which they're called, are the Mississippi States, Mississippi State's Ole Misses of the world. Mid-majors are considered the Southern Miss, the Central Michigan, the Western Michigan. Those are considered mid-majors. Jackson State, Alcorn, Mississippi Valley are considered low majors. And I like to break it down even further. I think they need to be broken down as, are you a 1-bid recruitable kid, 1-bid league kid, or a 2-bid league kid, or a multiple bid league kid? Meaning, like, you could go to the Sun Belt, for example, which is a mid-major league, but only one team, whoever wins the tournament, is usually going to go to the NCAA tournament. Does that make sense?
It does.
So, to me, can you play at that level? Well, John Knight, who had a low major offer, did go up another level by going JUCO. Most kids, I'll give you another example, Jonas James, who I love. Jonas James had an offer to Jackson State, goes to Pearl River, plays 2 good years there. And what does he do? He finishes at Jackson State. He had ended up playing 3 years at Jackson State because of COVID. Well, for me, Jonas James would have been better served going to Jackson State out of high school, getting what you call developed at the 4-year school, worked on his game, and then been a part of the system for 4 years versus 2 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of times that's what happens. If I got a kid that's equal, I got a kid that who is equal in talent. If I can get him for 4 years versus 2, I'm taking the 4-year
You
deal.
take the 4-year.
It's simple. But
Yeah.
now the way with the rule, it's changed the game. Because now everybody can get to 4 years. I'll tell you another kid who I was the only one offered her at Mississippi Valley coming out of high school, Samari Fields. Nobody else offered the young lady. I offered her as a junior in high school. I was her only Division I offer. She goes to Hope Adams down at Mississippi Gulf Coast, and now is a starting guard at Old Dominion and killing. She's a kid that leveled up. But when you look at out of about, let's say you have 20 of those kids, maybe 5 level up. Okay. Usually they stay at the same level. So what am I saying? I think that those 15 should go to a 4-year school from the beginning and develop, as you say, get acclimated to the system there versus go JUCO. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know, because I'm thinking about like a guy like Dalton Connect.
Okay.
He started at JUCO, killed it. Then he ended up going to like a D2 or something like that or D2 or D3 before he transferred over to Tennessee. And so now he's on the Lakers. But I'm thinking about what you were just saying. I can't think of too many kids that, like you said, if they have that low major potential, it's very rare that they just take that leap and go higher. But I think this is a perfect situation where they can kind of, again, it's funny how you said develop, because my son, we're grooming him. I mean, he's hooping and he's 15. And so, at the time when we was looking at high schools last year, he was, that was the buzzword, develop. But when you take a deeper dive into what these programs say are developing, there's really not a whole lot of developing kids. It's just kind of a buzzword for parents and players.
Absolutely. It is. That's the key thing. I love it, Jacob, what you said. It's a buzzword.
Yeah. So even with these,
in better word, it's a geek.
It's a geek. So even with the trainers now, there's been an influx of trainers. They developing kids. I mean, that's the geek now. But I don't know, E. I just wanted to jump on and kind of see what your take is, because I'm obviously you deeper into basketball than I am, as far as like the off the court side of it. So I was curious to see different angles and what people thought about it, outside of my initial reaction of it. But I'm excited just to kind of see how it pans out. But like you said, if there's already one scenario on it, the buzz is already so high on it, I don't see it simmering down. So they're going to have to do something. Yeah, it's
going to be very interesting that how this thing developed, how this will work.
So this kid you're talking about, he can actually do that now. It counts, or this following season. You said the one kid that they let do it, or
yeah, he's going to be able to. I don't know the exact what he's doing, if he just got another year of eligibility or exactly what happened. Because everything just popped out like, hey, they got this thing, hey. And so the JUCO, everybody, it's the thing today.
I'm curious to see how long this has been brewing. Like, is this something that they've been working on for years, or did it just pop out?
I won't say it's been years, but it's been ever since this thing's been in the court ruling. I had heard something about it, but now that it's happened, it's one of those deals that's getting ready to take off. I mean, it's going to be very interesting, man. Everybody want a JUCO job now,
right?
But what it's going to do to places like
how about places like LCC? I'm from Lansing, Michigan, LCC is one, the top JUCO in the area. You got Mott Community College and Flint area. So what
Oh yeah.
happened? Like LCC doesn't have a, I mean, they have a big campus, but they don't. It's not like big like how you would said some are in Mississippi or Texas or even here in Florida where you have on campus living, housing, all that type of stuff. So what happens to those JUCOs like
Oh,
LCC?
they become even more popular. I mean, because
Okay,
Michigan. The one thing about it, kids still want to. They're gonna go close to. They're gonna go close to home.
okay,
So they're gonna be people that they got to go to. They got to go JUCO somewhere, and
hmm
so I think it benefits them.
mm,
I think now again, there's definitely gonna be more alliances.
hmm
So let's say, for example, and I'll just use Mississippi for example. I'm in Mississippi Delta,
mm,
and I have a good relationship with the coach at Ole Miss or Mississippi State. Well,
mm,
now I tell them, hey, I need you to stash such and such for me, and I'm gonna get them to you. Especially like me and you, are close.
yeah,
You call me and say, Evie, I got this kid. I need him back. Come for a year. I need, you're going to be dealing with somebody you trust and you got to be able to make sure you got the kid because the one thing about these kids, they start seeing that lame in the lights, baby.
yeah,
And now we in the world of NIL
yeah. They got
and the
options.
money. It's going to be it's going to be a totally different animal,
hmm
you know.
Yeah,
So I got my guy AC. Is this one of your guys?
yeah,
What's up,
yeah.
AC? I'm Coach EV, man. You want to Jacob guys? Talk to me. Introduce yourself. Tell me where you're from and what you do. Right now, you're muted, AC. I'm gonna unmute you. See if I can. You got to unmute yourself, AC. I can't do it. Hey, Jacob, you gotta get people, man, that understand how to do technology on here. I mean,
Oh,
where's this dude? Where's this dude from?
he's big time for sure.
I
He
mean,
probably.
yeah, like unmute your mic, dog. Where he from? Well, Jacob, introduce him. Who is he?
All right. Let me see. Hold on. Let me. I want him to speak for himself. He might be in a position where he can't, but I just text him
All
to
right.
come on. But
Well, let me say let me shift real quick. Uh, I want to talk a little bit about, and we'll go back to the JUCO deal. But talk to me, Jacob, your thoughts on NIL and some of the collective. And I just heard Deion Sanders talk about the other day. Recently, he talked about how Travis Hunter and Shador are some of the highest NIL earners,
yeah,
but you can't come to Colorado if you're looking for a bag. And so I was kind of confused. And see, the one thing, and I love Deion. I love what he did at Jackson State, obviously what he's done at Colorado. But I think one of the things that we have to be very careful of, Shador and Travis are different. They talk about how they gave away a lot of the NIL money to their teammates and blah, 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 blah. But,
yeah.
Shador and Travis got a house out there. So he could have gave away all his money.
They got a few. They got some Rolls Royces, Phantoms, everything. They got
I
they.
mean, everything. Maybach, they giving away Maybach. And so, but here's the thing. Deion's a multimillionaire himself.
Right.
So it's different when your child already has money versus a kid coming in who needs the money.
Yeah.
Because let's just face it, it's all about economic freedom. Like as much as I'm talking about my child,
Right.
as much as I wouldn't mind him going to play for Coach Prime, the Geek, all of that. It's like the movie says, show me the money. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, everybody can give you the geek. Everybody got pretty much some of the same geek. especially when you're talking that level.
Right.
Now, you offer me, well, I want you gonna have an opportunity to come here and we're gonna win, but I can't give you but a 200,000, and then I can go to Oregon and win too, and they're gonna give me 500,000. Now, I know you prime. I know that, and I loved you I still like watching you run kickoffs back, but it's a $300,000 difference
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
some of these kids will never make that much money in their life.
Yeah. They just lost one of their top players on the line that's transferring. I think he's going to Michigan or something like that. But I guarantee that was what it was about. I mean, he has
It's
the
strictly
opportunity.
about
He can
money.
get paid more. Yeah, for sure. I think just to kind of what you started out with, I think Dion, I know what he mean, but it maybe came out wrong. He just want guys that want to come for the love of the game because he's about his money at the same time, but he wants guys to be locked in and wanting to play at the next level like that. So that's what he means. He's just saying don't let that be your focus.
Man, some
Keep.
of these kids ain't gonna make it that level. Let's
I
just face
know,
it.
I know,
This is
I
the
know.
this is the new NFL. Looks like my guy AC. Look like he got his mic situation taken care of. What's up, AC? Introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself, baby.
Hey man, my bad, man. I was in the middle of trying to move my trailer and my four wheeler. Hey, my name is Arthur Anderson, man. I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas, and live out here in Florida, man. What I did for years was I'm a retired military, but I trained athletes for a living, man. And I still dab a little bit. I got a couple of guys that made it and did their thing. So, and I met Jacob, man. I met his wife. Me and my wife met his wife when we first came out here. Then I met Jacob. So yeah.
Hmm.
Well, AC, talk to us a little bit about your thoughts on this whole new JUCO ruling, the NIL, and different things like that. Whatever you want to talk to about, how you think this JUCO rule is going to impact kids, some of the kids maybe you train, and just your thoughts on it.
So first, let me say I'm old school, man. I'm 57. So
Okay.
before now, it was just known. If you went to JUCO, you knew you only had 2 years to get it when you went to a regular university. So you had to go get it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're supposed to pick up all the things you needed at that JUCO. That's what it was for. It produced guys like Larry Johnson, out of them JUCOs. So you're supposed to go get it back then. But what I think is going to hurt is the incoming freshmen, the true freshmen straight out of high school. Because now you're coming in with a freshman that's possibly 20, 21 years old. You're 18 and you still trying to figure it out. This kid done been there already. He can figure it out at that JUCO, but he still got 4 years at that university.
Hmm.
That's
So
right.
you're a point guard coming out of high school. He a point guard coming out of a JUCO, and y'all both freshmen. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
now, if you can't get it in a year, you might just spend your 4 years there behind him. You know?
Man, that's a great
So
point, AC, because
yeah.
there's a difference. I'm 55, so I'm not that far behind you, and I understand that's a great point. Here you have an 18-year-old freshman who, and there's a lot of dynamics. I'm a head coach of a college right now. They're coming out of high school for the very first time. They have to get acclimated to the social life.
Yeah.
They have to get acclimated to being away from home for the first time, where they don't have to answer to their parents at all. Their parents don't they have, and this is, I think, the silliest thing in the world, especially for parents who are paying money. And even if they're not paying money, they're parents. I wish everybody would type in the chat right now, parents. I need to touch 3 neighbors and just say parents.
Touch a
Like,
neighbor.
at the end of the day, the 18-year-old don't know what they're doing.
No.
One of the things, the worst thing in this country has done has made an 18-year-old an adult in their mind. The only thing they can do is go to adult prison. They are not adults. They're usually still their cell phones. They're not paying any rent. Right? Everything's still being paid by the parents. So now I send you to school and I cannot get to know what your grades are unless my kid tells me. That doesn't even make sense. So now we have that dynamic going on. Like you said, AC, 18-year-old versus a 21-year-old. Well, the 21-year-old has been out and made some mistakes already. They understand. Now they are like, ooh, I made these mistakes. I can't make this at 21. Well, the 18-year-old ain't made those mistakes yet. He doesn't know what it is to get up at 6 a.m. to train and lift weights. He ain't been doing that. So now he does that. He's automatically behind that 21-year-old. And you're right. Now he goes and has to sit potentially, because now when he finally gets 21, that guy is 24.
Yeah.
And we all know that the older you get, that grown man strength starts to kick in.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between that. But think about this. There's going to be some guys that are 27 years old playing in college now against potentially an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Video right. Yeah, you're exactly right, bro. Imagine
So
this.
now you're talking about a 7-year difference. And so it's going to be.
What do you think? How does it affect NAIA?
Great question. That's a great question. Now, think about this. Will the NAIA, now I want y'all to hear me. I'm going to say something crazy. So hear me. Think about, oh man, I'm always in the Holy Spirit, Jacob. I feel God on this one. Think about this, Jacob. That person that goes to the courts and says they play NAIA for 4 years and say they want to go play NCAA for 4 years. Now they get 8 years.
Wait, you can do that now? Or are you just saying?
But I'm just saying, think about that. Why not?
Wait. Can you do that now?
No, they can't. But think about.
Oh, I was about to say.
Jacob, we couldn't do the JUCO before.
Right.
Why? The NAIA and the NCAA are two different governing bodies,
right?
Just like the JUCO was.
Right.
So think about what I'm saying. You go to an Indiana Tech like you did, play 4 years. Now all of a sudden you're NAIA Player of the Year, like several kids have done.
Right.
Now, do you get those same 4 years from the NCAA? That's a good question, ain't it?
Yeah.
I think the question is, how can they deny you?
There it is. Because they've opened up the floodgates.
Right. I was asking that more so from a recruitment standpoint. Does that hurt the NAIA programs now with that potential ruling?
I don't know, Jacob. Some people, man, are just, as they say, there are levels to this. But I think it would. Because now a lot of kids have you already have a lot of kids as the Bible says, they think more highly of themselves than they are. They think they're a different level than they are already.
No
they
self-awareness.
Really can't.
No self-awareness.
Yeah, they already think they D1. Yeah. And here's the thing. I have, in my younger days, have been guilty of pushing, especially high major kids. I have pushed in years past about the high major level. There's 300 D1. When I talk about a kid is D1, I'm talking about 350 schools. There are 350 Division I schools. So a lot of times when I argue with people, they're ignorant to the fact, oh man, they ain't D1. Yes, they are. They can go play at Mississippi Valley. I coach there. That's a D1 school. See, they're always automatically thinking
Power
Duke,
5. Yeah.
Clemson, places like that, Michigan State. No, they are Power 5s. There's a difference between Power 5 and low major, like we talked about earlier. So there are a lot of kids that are D1. You play with several of them at NAI, Dwayne Tubbs, Prentice Phillips, Tyrus Smith. That's old school guys back in the day. I didn't play D1. I was a D1 player. I mean, like, I could have played at any level. But at the end of the day, it was one of those deals where, some kids get lost in the shuffle. It's hard to get lost in the shuffle in today's time. Too much social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you can play, they're gonna find you.
Right.
Too many
Like
reporters, too many
Remember what I told you,
everything.
Jacob?
yeah.
Remember what I
Yeah.
just told you the other day?
Yeah. So he was telling me, elaborate on that, Arthur, about how you got to be almost kind of get yourself out there. Emails,
Yeah, man.
video.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to. You
Yeah.
can't sit back and just depend on your high school coach that he's just shopping you around and gonna get you out there. You can't depend on that.
Right.
Well, yeah, we can stop that right now. Most high school coaches, unfortunately, are just teachers. Nothing
Exactly.
wrong with that.
Especially in the modern era.
They have
Especially in
a
the modern era.
they have a family, and they don't even feel it's their job to promote their kid unless the college coach calls them. They're
Mm,
not going to pretty much go out on their own. And that's why you have the AU guys, you have the trainers, and to me, everybody should be working together
Yeah.
right.
because the AAU guys usually are the ones that are taking the time to promote the kids. And that's okay. The high school coach usually has to teach a class all day long and they don't have time or they don't want to make the time. And that's okay.
Right.
And that's how, if everybody works together, the kid can win. But what we have, and especially down here in Mississippi, but it's everywhere, it's not just Mississippi. Unfortunately, and I hate to say it, but it's, it just happens all over the country. It happens in Florida, I'm sure, happens in Indiana where I live, happens all over. We don't want to work together. We don't want to have a kingdom mindset. We want to have an empire mindset. So AC, AC the only one can do it. Oh, Jacob can do it. Only EV. No, everybody. But here's what we got to do. The three of us right now, we have to, if we were going to do something right now, we have to define our roles. Well, I'm not going to work nobody out right now. I'm not. I ain't training nobody. Unfortunately, because I respect the game of training so much that a trainer needs to be able to show the person the move, in my opinion. That's how I look at a trainer.
Mm,
Now, can I show a person the move? Yeah. But I ain't in the shape to do that right now. But can I coach you? Yeah, because I can put people around me, because I can coach you, but it's a different than train you.
mm,
Now, if I was forced to train somebody, could I? Yeah, but I would really need somebody who is doing the move. That's how I value training. But what we do is but then the trainer may not have the relationship with the college coach. So now here's what you need to do: pass the ball, in a sense, to the person who that's what they do. Jacob, you may be the guy who, because this is a visual world, who's great at doing the videos or flyers.
right.
Then my job is, hey, pass the ball to you. You do that. And then now the three of us can all play our roles. But what we have, and I've said this and I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. In grassroots sports, especially basketball, is the only entity where a person who's never played the game, who's never scored a basket in a real game, even in a pickup game, can come in, run an organization,
Yeah.
tell kids, tell kids who's good, who's not, when they can't go out and rip through and make a layup or rip through and make a jumper. And that's one of the reasons I got into media. It's so many media people who are talking about kids who never played the game. And that's frustrating. That's really frustrating to me.
Yeah.
And it's the only entity. Think about this. Only on a commercial can a doctor stay at a Holiday Inn and really be a doctor. You seen the Holiday Inn commercial, right? Hey, where you go? Oh, I just stayed at a Holiday. That's what we got in grassroots. Where did you play ball at? Oh, man, I ain't play ball. I was doing this. I did something else. I was just cool. It's different. I'll even give them respects if you were a manager. If you're a manager, at least you're around the game.
Right.
Because there are managers who have gone on and been great coaches. But you got to have some level of knowledge, some level of history where, to me. And I think we just got too many. I don't know if y'all got that in Florida, but I know we got that here in Mississippi.
Oh, it's everywhere, man.
It's
It's a,
everywhere, man. It's back
it's
in
everywhere.
Texas, everywhere, man. When I go to California, I see the same thing. Man. Same thing. Same
And it's
thing.
like where again, it's only in grassroots sports. You don't
It's
find it.
crazy.
You don't find, and it's a lot in basketball. Think
Yeah.
about this. You don't find that in golf.
Mm.
You don't find a guy that ain't never. That's like me. I've never hardly picked up a club, and I'm gonna go run a golf AAU program because I was a basketball guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
The only thing I could do is push play on a VCR or DVD or Netflix or somewhere and show them a Tiger Woods video. That's the only thing I could do. I couldn't do nothing else. I can't even hold a club right. I can only go to Top Golf and swing with one hand and hold and have fun that way. That's the only thing I can do with golf.
I think now, since I'm listening to you talk about that, I think the reason why it's so rampant in let's say basketball, because the gateway to entry is a lot easier.
Okay,
So,
break that down.
okay, just as an example, how you said golf. There's not a whole lot. I mean, there is in Florida, depending on what state you're in. There's a lot of. It's kind of a closed community for golf.
That's good.
I can't come in, like you said, you can't come in with no experience and start training kids or, or doing anything, critiquing kids, evaluating kids for golf. That's not happening. Period.
That's right.
But for basketball, number one, it's a visual sport, so it's everywhere. It's a lot of motion going around. I mean, kids starting at what 4, 5, 6 years old. You got AAU starting super early, so there's more opportunities. There's more of a need for those guys to come and kind of make a name. So if you're good with social media, if you have a good mouthpiece, and let's just say you have a good network, you can be one of those guys and come in with no basketball experience and create a name for yourself. Like what's the guy for the what's the guy? And I just had a brain freeze. What's the guy right now who talks hoops with the long nose? He's a LeBron guy. For
Nick Wright.
Nick Wright.
Yeah.
So a guy like that who has a TV personality, no playing experience or whatever. I mean, over time they can blow up. So I think that's where that comes from. It seemed like it would be a lot easier to do in the basketball arena versus golf.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And another place you can't just infiltrate like that is baseball.
Yeah. You're not doing that in baseball.
Everybody ain't doing that in baseball.
Nah, because I train baseball and it's not allowed. They don't do it.
Now you ain't just popping up and run no baseball team, and you ain't never played baseball.
You better have a newspaper clipping or something about yourself in baseball if you want to get out there.
That's exactly right. You better be able to go out and hit a curveball up fast, but they want to see something.
That's right.
You better go out there and throw the baseball, as they say, flicked it. That was an old term right there, flicked it.
Right. But guess what? Guess where it's the most rampant, like we say, in basketball. And guess what community of people is affecting the most? Inner city is us,
That's right.
So you got kids that, I mean, just like the NBA, there's certain players, if you don't make the all NBA team, if you don't make these certain teams at the end of the year, that determines how much money you get paid. And who's the people that are voting these guys in? The same very people you're talking about that never played basketball before. They're quote unquote analysts, and they're the one voting and making a determination on how much someone can make for that year, for that season. So it's affecting our community. And I'm not going to get on make this no racial, I'm not going to get on that box there. But at the end of the day, I think it affects our community the most, because you got these people who see opportunity to make money at the end of the day, to make a name for themselves. They see dollar signs. And then you got these parents sometimes that might not be involved in moving around the whole athletic scene, And so, they team up and partner with certain individuals that, you know, can talk the game a little bit, but then at the end of the day, it kind of stunts the growth of that kid.
Absolutely. We're
Yeah.
going through that. We're going through that right now
Mhm.
as a state. We're going through that right now as a state, as far as in basketball.
Mhm.
There's a lot of kids that could benefit. I mean, Jacob, you've known me for however many years. You know how many kids I've helped get in school
Oh yeah.
over the years and how many kids I've mentored. And because there are certain entities that they don't quote unquote like me, they keep their kids away from me. And all that's doing is hurting the kids. Because my motto is, I see you shaking your head, AC, you going through that too. All that is my motto is I don't want any kids left behind.
Right.
I'll help any kid. Now it's a difference if a kid is in a program that I'm a part of, and a
Mhm.
kid is not. I'm not going to hurt that kid at all, but I'm going to talk about the kids to the college coaches that has said, their parents have said to me, Coach, we want you to help our kid.
Yeah.
Versus the kids that's shunning me. Now, if a coach asks me about those kids, I'm gonna say, oh yeah, they can play. I'm never gonna hurt a kid in that way
Yeah.
because I gotta answer to God.
Yeah.
But
I
going overboard, no.
I feel like too, on the flip side of that, these trainers, these grassroots people who've been with these kids at a young age, help create that foundation. I think it's the kids that do make it. I think they need to do a better job in giving credit where it's due.
Oh, Jacob,
EV,
that's a whole nother
I
show.
mean, because
Absolutely.
We
perfect
gonna need
example,
another 2 hours for that.
perfect example, EV, and I'm not just saying that because we on a podcast. Uh, you and I know whose corner you've been in for how many years, and you should be at a greater platform. We both talk about it all the time, but part of that is because I think when the kids that's benefited of the connection of you, they got to the certain destination. Now they're with the trainer who's popular on social media just for the clout, doing a couple moves, things like that. But they're the ones getting all the shine. But then the guy who created the foundation, showed them about the mid-range game, got their handles in order, the basic fundamental stuff. That guy get left behind in the city, that in the home city, hometown. So I think when you said earlier, like, how do we, why can't we come together? Why is there so many different, different branches of everything? It's just because it's kind of like a domino effect of both sides. I mean, they not really staying close to home as far as giving credit where credit is due, promoting the guys that got them there. And that's, to me,
Yeah.
that's a character thing. You know,
It's no, thank you, Jacob.
you don't got you,
It's
yeah,
a character
yeah,
flaw.
yeah. There's
That's
no amount of
exactly
money
right.
that somebody can give me to make me forget the person who helped me get there. That's just
That's right.
me. But
Yeah.
when you talk about a
Well, man, I
spiritual thing,
appreciate
that's
y'all
that's a whole nother
jumping
thing.
on.
Yeah,
Jacob is approaching an hour.
yeah.
So we have this thing right now. What we do, Jacob, we call it the last geek of the night. So for about 45 seconds to a minute, we'll let you go first, AC. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Shout out whoever you want to shout out. And then we're going to shut this down. So what's your last geek of the night, AC? Whatever you want to talk about.
Man, I'm gonna give a shout out to a man that passed away, man. Mr. Walsh, man. When I was playing little league football, I wanted to quit the team because they wouldn't let me play. They wouldn't put me in the game. And he was just a parent on another team, but everybody knew who he was. He was a local firefighter. And I said, hey, they told him I wanted to quit. He pulled me to the side. He said, why are you gonna quit? I said, they won't give me a chance. They won't let me play. He said, I tell you what, don't quit. He said, for the next 2 weeks, every time they ask for whatever, they want a punter, a center, wide receiver, you run out there. He said, if nothing else, they're gonna remember your name. So that's what I started doing. Just run out there every time they like, no, not you, Anderson. Finally, they gave me a chance to nose guard at practice. I made 3 tackles in the backfield. From that point on, I was a starting nose guard. So I want to give a shout out to him, man. I showed, it kept me around because I was ready to quit. I ain't gonna even lie. For real.
Wow. That's awesome, man. Awesome memory.
Yeah.
Jacob.
All right. So if we giving shout outs to people, I'm gonna give a shout out to you, EV. as many hours as you and I put in as far as on the basketball hoop scene, you have you've set a bigger imprint on my life as far as a family man, being a man of God, things like that. So any way that I can promote you and help you, again, not to say that I know everything and have access to everything, that I'm all for it. So I'm giving credit where credit is due for you. So even when we chopped it up and you was like, hey, hop on this podcast, I'm with it. So I wanted to be a support. So without, honestly, like you said, if I would have met you sooner, then I wouldn't have been at Tech. Because you was helping
Right.
me with, you were helping me with the 90% of the game, which is the mental.
Well, guys, I appreciate you hopping on, Jacob. I appreciate
Yeah.
that love, man. You've always been, you and your family,
Yeah.
very dear to me, and one of my young guys. AC, I appreciate you for jumping on. Appreciate all of you, Miss Blanks, LaWanda Blanks, Coach Taylor, my live chatters, along with all the other people that jumped on here tonight. We're going to be coming back on doing a Twitter space. I'm going to be bringing my guy Snacks on. We're going to be talking about the Bass Invitational. We're going to be doing just a Twitter space. It won't be a video in about 15, 20 minutes talking about the Bass Invitational going down tomorrow at Mississippi College. I mean, 2 days of some of the best basketball in the state. Jacob, I wish you and AC was here. Y'all would, we could get y'all some Southern hospitality. The hospitality room gonna be off the chain. I mean, everything is going. I mean, it's just Thomas Snacks Lee, ESPN ESPY Award winner here local, has done a phenomenal job. Young guy, and he's created one of the best high school holiday tournaments in the country, the Bass Invitational. So we'll be jumping on Twitter. It's gonna be a Twitter space. So if you ain't doing nothing, y'all can pop on about 15, 20 minutes. For AC, Jacob Loggins, I'm EV, aka Coach EV the Geeker, saying thank you for popping on tonight, talking hoops in the sip, and good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.